Hello, let me welcome you to today's video. I am so glad that you could join me in today. So after weeks and several weeks of trying to figure out what was happening with me, how I'm feeling the way that I was feeling, why I struggled to just sit down, think and do my work. I mean, I did that for quite a number of times, trying to figure out what was happening. At one point, I thought maybe I could be feeling discouraged, and I made a video about that. I also thought maybe that I'm not doing fine and that I needed to really introspect and do a self-check-in. And I did that, and I also made a video about it. And I guess these were quite helpful for me because I was able to sit down, reflect, and try to figure out what was happening with me. So after doing all of those, it seemed like having to figure out that I could be burnt out seemed to make more sense than the other ones. It felt like it was a missing piece to the puzzle, and I was able to truly figure out what was wrong. And because of that, I think it helped me to really tackle the burnout. And I thought, you know what, because of the times that we are in of the pandemic, maybe, making a video about burnout would also help someone. Because I think that whenever there is a high stress or a lot of stress, it can cause people to be burnt out. I will admit that I haven't looked into any literature that makes the association between COVID-19 and burnout or any other pandemic and burnout. But if you find that interesting, then maybe you can do some reading up on it for yourself. But I thought that it will be helpful for someone because we are in times where we are adjusting quite a lot, and it's not everybody who's able to cope with the adjustments that have come due to COVID-19. So as a result, here we are. In the past, burnout was a risk that was associated with people who worked within human services, who worked within healthcare services, and a lot of research was done on it where they found that there is an association, that it's like the people who work within those fields are the ones who are most likely to be burnt out. But later on they found that no, it's not just these two, or it's not just these ones that we have identified. There's more. They found that people within customer services get burnt out, people within technology companies, people within education even get burnt out. And I have also seen through several videos on YouTube, I've seen people, YouTubers or content creators saying that, hey, I felt burnt out. I was burnt out and I took a break. So we can really see that anyone can get burnt out. If there is stress, which is excessive and it's prolonged, anyone can get that burnout. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I am going to talk about what burnout is and what are the things that a person is experiencing that can tell us that this person is burnt out. So to begin, the definition or the explanation of what burnout is simply the mental and physical exhaustion that comes with the excessive and prolonged stress. So it's that sense of, you know what, I really feel mentally and physically exhausted. I feel so tired. And it's a result of the person having gone through excessive and a prolonged sense of stress. Okay, so in burnout, we see that a person has a low energy. It's like they feel demotivated. And sometimes you can even see someone who is burnt out feeling that, I don't find the purpose to why I am doing the task that I am doing. I don't find a purpose to why I am doing my job, to doing my work-related tasks. So that is burnout in a nutshell. We can tell that people have burnout by these three main features, and underneath or under those features there are several signs and symptoms, and then in the end I'll also talk about other signs and symptoms that we can expect to see. So under the first feature or the first category, which is called exhaustion or fatigue, we expect to see someone feeling so tired that, when they have to do that task, when they have to go to work, and when they have to wake up in the morning or whenever to do their tasks, to do work, we see them feeling like they're running on empty, like I have nothing to give. I'm exhausted. There's nothing in me that is left. We also see them feeling like they can't do it anymore. They can't think straight and they want that break. So all of these and more are features that we can, or symptoms that we can expect to see under this feature. And then the second feature is depersonalization, or the cynicism, where with depersonalization is having that distance or distancing yourself from work, and then the cynicism has to do with the negative thoughts and the feelings that you have about your work, where we can expect to see someone feeling that very hostile about their work, where sometimes they can feel like they want to isolate themselves from their colleagues because they don't want anything to do with work. Sometimes it can feel, or it can look like a person is cognitively and emotionally not invested in their work. They're not even interested in their work. But all of these things, all they have to do with is that a person loses the connection to their work. They also lose that enjoyment to their work. And then lastly, they can also feel that, you know what, they don't feel so positive about their tasks or what they're doing. And then the final one would be the final feature would be the reduced professional efficacy, where now a person performs poorly in their work task, where sometimes a person it can feel like, or it can look like they're not meeting their deadlines or their schedules, and that's because they feel like they are not catching up, or they feel like they're not coping. And then the other thing is that they also have a very poor perception about the ability to do the work. So it's like they feel that they're not able to do that task anymore, and they have a low morale. We can also see them not achieving or be productive in their work-related tasks, where they can even feel frustrated, and they can also feel that, you know, I don't feel a sense of fulfillment for my job. It's not giving me the fulfillment that I feel I need from it. I'm just not satisfied with my work. And then we also have other signs and symptoms that we can see that we would consider them to be burnout. And I think with some of them, I will give examples of particularly what happened to me. So the first one that I saw is that I felt that I wasn't seeing any direction. So a person can feel that they're not, they have lost that sense of direction for the work. And that was the same with me, particularly with my content in YouTube, where I felt I wasn't understanding the type of direction it's happening or it's taking. I felt I didn't feel creative, which is another symptom. I felt defeated, and I really doubted my abilities to do videos, and that is something that someone who has burnout can also experience. And then they can also have poor emotion regulation, where they struggle to regulate their emotions. They even struggle to begin to process how they are feeling. And when it's difficult for somebody to identify what they're feeling, then it's difficult for someone to then say, because I am feeling this way, this is how I tackle the emotion. We also see poor self-care, where a person doesn't take care of themselves. And then lastly, we can see that amplified anxiety about work, where, for example, if someone has been fine during the weekend, suddenly they remember that, oh my goodness, tomorrow is a work day, it's Monday, or whenever, where they've been on a break from work, and then suddenly they feel, you know, tomorrow I do have to go to work. And then they feel that sense of anxiety around them about going to work, about being with colleagues, and so on. So all of these are examples of the signs and symptoms that we can expect to see. I hope that by making this video, I have helped someone who could be experiencing burnout, or who could be experiencing these things but not knowing that it could be burnout. So by this, it's just an encouragement that if you have been seeing some of these symptoms, then it would be advisable to seek a professional. And at the same time, it would be a good thing that the earlier you identify them, the signs, the easier, or the earlier it could be that the burnout is worked on. Remember, if burnout goes on for quite a number of times or for a long time, and then it can turn into depression. So the earlier, the better. The earlier it's identified, the better. So that is it with today's video. If you enjoyed watching this or you really identified with it, do comment down in the comment section. Like it, share it, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please feel free to click that subscribe button. So I will see you all in the coming video.